Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Well Nerds Podcast. This is episode number 90. My name is Slater, and I'm here with Adam and Caitlin.
What's up?
Hi.
And we're winging it, bros.
Oh my gosh. I just have to say it like that.
Caitlin is so scared right now that this podcast.
She is. She's not
like,
about
you
it.
guys, I could read this paper, but I mean, I don't know if I have time to read this paper. And it's like, just chill vibes today.
Oh my god.
Just gotta chill. Yeah, we're gonna have a great time. We're just gonna wing it. We're gonna see what freaking happens.
We're gonna talk about all the amazing encounters Caitlin's had in her life. She's had so many, and I actually just haven't heard about all of them.
I didn't know that that's what we were gonna do.
All right, Caitlin, start from the first whale encounter you've ever had.
I don't remember. I don't know.
Wow, she's had too many. She doesn't remember.
No, I'm sure I saw gray whales when I was a kid, but I don't remember.
Remember,
it.
you always said like you saw like Southern Residents. Or something?
Southern Residents are the first ones that I remember. We were camping in the San Juan Islands, but I mean, I'm sure growing up on the Oregon coast, I saw gray whales at some point. I just don't remember it.
It's pretty cool.
So
should we go through our sightings and then just kind of talk about our?
We can talk about something.
Well, I want to start with a little different than we normally do, and I wanted to say thank you to all our supporters first instead of saving it for the end of the episode.
Let's do it. Sounds good to me.
So we did get some more bookings since last time we recorded, so thank you to everyone who signed up for Whale Nerds Weekend. We're very excited to see you all in October. We're just about a month out, and we have 10 spots left. So if you're still thinking about joining the trip, there are still spaces available. You can book it at thewhalenerds.com/trips. And we also got a new Patreon subscriber who actually updated how much they are giving monthly. So thank you so much for that. If you want to support our work on Patreon, it's patreon.com/whalenerds. And we had some good questions in our inbox. And actually, someone brought to our attention that there's something wrong with the file on episode 84 on some of the platforms. So if you're trying to listen to episode 84, we're aware of it now. We're trying to get it resolved. Some of the platforms have it right. Some of the platforms don't have it at all. And some of them have episode 86 instead. So I don't know what happened, but it is correct on the YouTube right now if you want to listen to it on YouTube. But by the time we post this episode, it should all be fixed. But something very bizarre happened with Podbean, and we are trying to resolve it. So sorry about that, but we'll fix it. So, also, if you rate or review or subscribe to the podcast somewhere, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the support, guys. And I am so excited for Whale Nerds Weekend. It's going to be a blast. So if you haven't yet and you're interested in signing up, you should do it ASAP because I have a feeling it's going to sell out and it's going to be an awesome time.
I'm going to guarantee you guys a breach from a humpback.
Whoa,
dude. We're guaranteeing stuff out here.
I think I've seen a breach every single day for the last like 10 days somewhere in the bay.
We do have 3 days of water.
I'm not going to guarantee it next to the boat, but
breach.
I'm going to guarantity it somewhere in the bay while we're out.
Wow, not that we're going to see
Right,
it,
now
just
you're
that someone's
changing
going to be like, we're at a breach over here. I was going to say, you're going to have to give me $20 if we don't see one.
I'll give you $20. Okay, can I tell you guys a quick story about paying someone money for a breach?
Yes.
Okay, so today, I guess I'll just do my sightings real quick. So today I went out and we had a bunch. I found like 8 humpback whales in the fog. The fog was kind of lifting, and I found 8 humpback whales, and 2 of the whales ended up being this cool colored calf that we've been seeing that has like some white pigment around the eyes and on the top of the fluke, and so on. And so today, after these whales all split up from the sea lions, these 2 kind of headed west. Actually, it was there was an escort there as well. And so I gave them some time because the whale was starting to like roll over and do some little like tail sloshes and stuff like that. And so I told the passengers on my boat, I was like, let's give some time because I have literally missed this whale breach every single day by like an hour, or just like it's breached when I've gone in. And so we gave it time, and then there was a pot of killer whale seen right in front of the harbor yesterday in Moss Landing. So I was like, all right, you guys, we've given this whale like a good 45 minutes or an hour, and it hasn't breached, but it still seemed kind of active. So I get on the radio and I called Danny and Tim, and I was like, you guys, if this whale breaches, please let me know because I'm the only one that doesn't have a photo of it. And I said, I'll pay you guys $50. And I was like, so 25 each. And literally they were like, wait, so, okay, we'll split it. Right. And then he's like, Slater, you know, we're just going to say it's going to breach. Right. And I was like, no, I have to get a photo of it when I come back. And so I'm not, and as I'm explaining the rules of this bet, the freaking calf flies out of the water. And they were like, they both go cha-ching. And I was like, damn it. So then I run back over and I was like, Danny, can I get up ahead of you? So I pull up in front of Danny and I get the shot. And so they're like, thank you. So now I owe them both $25.
Oh my God.
So,
And you said it on the podcast. So there's no getting out of it now.
yeah. So I'll pay you $20. I'll bring a $20 bill specific to pay Caitlin for breaching.
We're just going to like set it in an envelope on the dash.
So, yeah.
We'll have Kate hold it until it happens.
That's
and then
funny.
Caitlin
Tim
can
just
get it.
commented on my post on Instagram and he was like, he said something about the money. And
Where's my money, bro?
Yeah.
I'll have to
That's
catch him in
awesome.
the morning if he's going out.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Dude, that's a cool whale.
Yeah,
So
I want to
cool.
call it Panda.
I want
Yeah,
to.
there's a million names. They yeah.
I want to give it a hug.
I just wanna see it.
I want you guys to see it. I really hope it's still around here in
I
October.
hope. Oh, that'd be so cool.
It just showed up like a week and a half ago. It wasn't here in the beginning. Like, and I saw Fluke and Aurora today. It's so funny because they're like old news now. Like, and I was so happy because I hadn't seen them for a week, and so I was like, "This is Fluke and Aurora!" Like, and I saw them before I actually found the 8 other whales. So there's a
Nice.
lot of humpbacks around. A
Cool.
lot, again. So yeah.
Good. Save some of the action for October. We're almost there.
Oh, it'll be here.
So what else did you see this week?
I think I saw Fatfin again since I talked to you guys last. I'm not. Did we talk about Fatfin last time? Yeah, we did. 'Cause we talked about him being erratic.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah,
Where he's
so
like,
I saw him the like
does
next
his
day
thing.
after that podcast. And I found him by myself. We were by ourselves, and he went down, and we actually could have got a very good look. But I was like, you know what? Let's just stay back and kind of like maybe if we just don't go close to them at all, they'll like give us good looks. Nope, didn't matter. He popped up a mile opposite direction like
Yep.
3 times, and so.
Yep.
I told my passenger, I said, let's give him like one more time. And so we got like actually one pretty decent look. And then we went on to find lunge feeding. So that was cool. But other than that, we did have like a couple days where the whales were in 50 feet of water, 60 feet of water in Marina. That happens, I feel like every summer at one point they get inside there. Which is really cool to watch because what these 3 whales were doing was they were basically just like say they started at Moss Landing and they were just working their way towards Monterey, and basically you would see like some pelicans and cormorants and stuff dive up ahead, and then sure enough they would like lunge there, and then they would keep going, and then we ran into a pod of like easily 25 plus bottlenose dolphin.
nice.
And they were doing some really cool behaviors, and I think that they were just corralling the bait. They were like all tail slapping kind of in a circle. Even Danny noticed it, and we were like, this is actually really crazy. Like I've never seen like they were all doing it, and then they were it's not like they lunge feed, you know what I mean? So it's not like we could tell if they're feeding or anything, but they definitely were chasing bait around.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's been Rizzo seen almost every day. Today I didn't see that. They actually popped up fairly close, but I didn't get any looks at them. That calf was breaching, and it's like hard to pull away from a calf.
Have you seen any Rizzos being flung out of the air by killer whales or?
No, but every time I see them, is it sad that I like pray for their downfall?
A little bit.
Well,
Oh
it's like, yeah. I guess I saw a post on Instagram today that there were some killer whales seen in the Farallon or near the Farallon Islands, and one of the females had a pretty cool chunk out of the dorsal fin. I'll have to send you guys the thing and see if you can ID them.
Was it Oceanic Society or who saw him?
Yeah, Oceanic Society posted it. See if you know them, Adam.
Oh yeah, I saw that big male. I didn't recognize him, but that's pretty cool.
Let me look.
Dorka,
but you know what?
dorka.
I feel like we've been having a lot of killer whale sightings in the last week.
It's been
I
it's
didn't
true.
see them a couple. Your friend saw them down in Big Sur, right, Adam?
Yes,
So
there's a
the night
pod down in
before
Big Sur.
that, there was a pod seen in Monterey. I assume it was probably the same pod, but if not, super cool. And then we had that pod yesterday that I missed because the weather was pretty bumpy.
I actually don't think it was the same pod because that pod was
Oh, you
reported
ID'd him?
as Luis, right? Everybody said it was the 140Bs,
Yeah.
and the
feel
other
like-
pod had this like weird big male in it.
I
Okay,
know
yeah,
these.
so-
I know these whales. The male has a nick low down on his dorsal fin, and then the female with that nick up high. They're definitely in the catalog.
97 catalog.
They're probably in both.
We'll have to take a look and get back
The
to you on
97
that.
catalog. That's so funny to say, huh? The 1997.
Yeah, they're
catalog.
definitely in the 97 and they should be in the 21 catalog.
I'm so stoked we have a
'Cause
21 catalog
between-
now.
Because between the notch on the lower part of his dorsal fin and all of those scratch marks in his saddle, like you definitely
Should be
able
pretty
to-
easy.
And then even the female, she has that notch up high, but then she has a couple, if there's a right side photo, she has a couple scratches in her saddle patch too.
Cool idea before the episode ends.
Caitlin, what did you see this week? You said it was kind of bumpy today.
Yeah. Let's see. I went out of town on Friday
yeah.
afternoon. So I think I had pretty much all my sightings reported before I left for vacation. I'm trying to think what Friday morning was like. I don't know, it's all a blur. I was out of town.
Weren't you doing captain stuff or something?
No, I was visiting my family. Well, I mean, I did stuff while I was out of town, but my main motivation.
Before you left that day, I thought you didn't go out on Friday, maybe.
I did in the morning, and then I didn't go on the afternoon flight, even though my flight was delayed. Or the afternoon trip. So yeah, I went to the Oregon coast, so that was nice. And I went tide pooling at Haystack Rock in Cannon Beach, which was good. It was better tide pooling than I'd seen it for a long time. For a lot of years, the sand had shifted and most of the little rocks in front of Haystack were covered. And so all that marine life died because it got smothered. But the rocks are exposed again. So there's a lot more stuff going on, which is cool. I didn't see any whales while I was on vacation, though. It was nice and calm. If there was whales around, I would have seen them. And then today,
That's sad.
I know. Then today, the weather was pretty bumpy, and we went down on Stellwagen Bank, and there was a couple of different humpbacks around. And we got great looks at a big ocean sunfish, like almost the size of a car hood ocean sunfish.
Wow.
And there was a little kid on board that was like, I guess he'd been asking about it before the trip. So he was like so stoked to see the sunfish. And
awesome.
The whales, I think, got a little bit active, but it was pretty choppy. And so I was more concerned with the people on the deck, just helping them walk around to get to the railing to see the whale. So I didn't really get to see the whale a lot because I was kind of on the downslope in the bow, and I'm already pretty short, so I couldn't see over everyone's heads. But I think they had a great trip. I just was more concerned with them walking around than anything else today.
Yeah, those trips are always sketchy. It's like,
Yeah. I would rather, I mean, as crew, I would rather be on the deck to make in those problem areas, like, you know, between the benches in the bow or at the staircase, just to know that they're going to be safe walking around than anything else on days like that. And if I was a captain, I would hope that I had crew that was of the same frame of mind. I mean, I love whales and I love watching whales, but you know, the passengers come first and safety comes first. So there's some days where you just have your head down on the deck the whole time and you just don't get to see it, but it's saves you a lot of headache later because you are preventing people from taking a tumble on accident.
Yeah.
Well, especially on a big boat like that, like you have so many people to watch after, right? Like,
yeah. And I always tell my new crew, it's like, it's all about the staircases and the dead spaces on the boat where there's no handrail or where there's a staircase. Like you need to be there just in case. So
we also get it sometimes where it's just like people being dumb. Like we had a couple of days where it's just like, hey, you know, you say it 50 times on the mic, please hold on to the handrails, make sure you're holding on to the handrails. We're going to pick up speed here, make sure you're holding on to the handrails, and people are just fumbling around, not holding on to anything. So that can be super frustrating. But
Slater doesn't have that problem because he has a small boat.
He doesn't.
No, I don't have that problem because I'm Slater Moore and I don't need handrails.
I forgot about that. Oh my god!
You know how many times JJ says that to me? Like at least a couple times a month on the radio now. Now that I'm on the boat and I can talk across radios. Or he'll be like, Slater, look over here, and then he'll do my thing like out the window.
But the best is like
have people they when they go to the bow of my boat and it's like a little bouncy, it'll like make them sit down on that little seat sometimes.
Yeah, but that's exactly it. Like there's somewhere for them to sit and there's nowhere for them to get a bunch of momentum to run across the deck. Like that's the thing that would drives me nuts is when there's the empty space between the benches and they like can get a few steps in and build some momentum and then run with the swell. I'm like, stop! You're gonna fall down and it's gonna hurt a lot.
We always get kids on the bow that are just like trying to time it with the waves to jump.
Yeah.
And Dave's always like, go tell that kid to stop jumping now.
Yep.
And I'm like, I have to go up there and ruin and crush their dreams.
Yep. Oh my gosh. The captain, sometimes he'll be like, yo, go down there. But other times he'll get on the loud hailer that just plays to the bow and he'll be like, hey, attention down in front. No jumping. And then he'll go into this long speech about how if you jumped at the wrong time and you go overboard, you're going to get sucked under by the propellers. And then you're going to get chewed up and you're going to get turned into shark bait. And we're not going to turn around and go pick up your pieces.
Oh my gosh.
See, Danny's like new thing is he's like, I really wish I could just turn my whole boat into a jump house and then like just have people fly. And like, I'm like, dude, they would so break their neck.
Oh yeah, no. But on the New Horizon, dude, it's a possibility.
I have an update.
What?
OCT 41 is the female. I can't find the male.
Oh, that female that's from the up in the Farallones?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what's the CA number so then I can know who it is?
Yeah, I don't know. That's another question.
Such a bummer.
That conversion chart's somewhere on here.
Oh, there is one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Adam, what'd you see this week?
Just humpback whales every day, being friendly with the boat every single day. Literally, I think let's see, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then today, Wednesday, we've had friendly whales. Tuesday we didn't have any friendlies, but we had one that was like super into the kelp, and like I was so mad. This whale was playing with the kelp, and like it was a huge kelp patty, and like he put both of his pec fins up, and both of his pec fins were just covered in kelp, and then he had it draped across his chest too. And it was like we were running late, and this was like 10 miles out of the harbor, and we were like, oh, we gotta go. And so like we let the whale dive, and then we were like slowly started to move out of the area. But like as he was like, I don't know, 200 yards off our stern, we were already pulling away. He did this massive spy hop with his eye completely out of the water, kelp draped all over his face, and I just watched it, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's like a dream photo. Like, and I'm just looking at it. Oh, it was so brutal.
Oh, that's funny.
So that was sad.
I think that's what we saw Friday morning. Now that you bring that up, before I left for my trip, with our kelp is like little really? Fronds, and so like that, but it gets clumpy, and so like they like kind of put it on their face and then like let it run down their back a little bit, and then they keep going.
Yeah, so that was really cool. I was bummed I missed the photo, but that happens to the best of us.
Mm-hmm.
And then today it was super duper foggy in the morning, and it was kind of sketchy just because I didn't know if we were gonna find whales because it was that foggy.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden this little area opened up, and we had about 7 whales in there, 7 or 8. And among them was Scarlet. Scarlet is my favorite whale. We've been watching Scarlet on the Condor for 15 years, and this year she has a calf with her, and I swear to Poseidon, every time I see Scarlet, she just like beelines it for the boat. Again, like I don't know why, I don't know what her deal is. I don't know.
Around the Condor Express, dude, she probably knows it. She's been going there for longer than you've been alive.
But doesn't she mug like every boat?
True.
No, she did actually today. She did mug a smaller, like whatever 20-foot Sea Ray or something, and then like a couple weeks ago she did mug the Island Packer boats, which are very similar to our boats but a little bit different. I just they're not jets, they're props. They are catamarans. They're 65-foot catamarans. We're a 71-foot catamaran, and it's the same, build maker and everything, boat maker, but they have props. We have jets, so that kind of throws my theory out the window. But regardless, she's an extremely friendly whale, and it's just super cool to see one that has had a negative run-in with boats in the past. Obviously her name's Scarlet because she has this really gnarly boat propeller scar on her back that is kind of bubbled up, and she has some really weird I wouldn't say callosities, but it's just like the weird formation of how it's grown back. He says it has these like weird bubbles on the back, just how it's grown back.
But it's been like that.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it was
it's been like that.
such a traumatic injury. I think of other
And it's
whales where
deep.
where I've seen scars that bad, and it doesn't heal clean, right? Like, I mean,
No.
think about how easy with a flensing knife the blubber layer comes off on a whale, and so when
Yeah.
you think about it having to stitch back together on a moving animal, like
Mhm.
it's not going to heal very nicely.
Yeah, it's definitely not a perfect heal, but it allows us to identify really. I literally saw her from 2 miles away today, and I was like, oh, there's Scarlet. You can see
Yeah.
the big bubble on her back.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's a super friendly whale. She's easily my favorite whale. Every time we see her, she comes over. And yeah, with her new calf, it's just kind of cool, seeing her pass that tradition on. It seems like, and that the calf this year is super friendly. And it's just funny, like she'll like today they went down for like 10 minutes and we were like, okay, should we just leave? Like we didn't see them come back. We're like, they're probably done with us. And then as we were about to move out of the way, boom, popped up right next to us. And they're just like doing the same thing, spy hopping, rolling around. So you can't really ask for a better encounter than that. So super awesome. Today was an awesome day. And I've said it in the past, they seem to go through these phases here. Like they'll go through a phase of a week or two straight, every day or every other day, they'll mug the boat. And then for a week straight, they'll be breaching. And then for a week straight, they'll be tail throwing. And then for a week straight, they'll be lunge feeding. Like it's just kind of weird how they go through these phases. But when you really start paying attention, you can like see those patterns, which I think is my favorite part about whale watching realistically.
Interesting. Well, so I was thinking about, you're like, oh, tell us your first whale encounter ever. How about one that's sort of like a memory from this time of year that I don't think I've ever talked to you about on the podcast?
Let's do it. We should all share our own.
Yeah, I'll go first. So 6 years ago, about this time of year, I worked on contract for Big Blue Live at the BBC.
What the heck is that?
I remember
Oh.
Yeah.
Caitlin just freaking throwing around BBC shoots out here, making us feel like losers.
I just worked as boat crew. I wasn't like on film or anything. I was just part of the team.
Adam, like always.
So they came out and did like some B-roll collection and like promo stuff in July. I got to meet Steve Backshaw and stuff, which was pretty cool. Then the UK broadcast was the week of August 30th, somewhere in there, of 2015. And on my Facebook memories, it popped up on the 30th of August saying, 6 years ago today, you made this post. And I was like, what the heck is this? And there's a picture of the blue whale that we put live on TV in the UK. And it was the first time that ever had like a blue whale had ever been live on TV for a nature show. They've been live on the news before, especially in Southern California, but not for like, we want to put a blue whale live on TV for this like live documentary series.
What are the odds?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So especially in 2015. So the start of the end of 2013 was the start of that warm water blob. And the summer of 2014, I was an intern, but I was also working in the office a little bit. And the BBC called and I answered the phone. And they were like, we want to put a blue whale live on TV. What are the odds? And I was like, we've seen 2 all summer. So slim. I was like, not to like, I don't want to lose this opportunity, but I also want you to be realistic about like, we haven't hardly seen any. We haven't had any krill. We've had incredible dolphins, humpbacks, killer whales, everything else, but no blue whales. And they're like, okay, well then they like kept talking about it. And I was just like, oh, well, we'll see what happens. So then they came and we had sort of seen blue whales that week, but not really. And I was like, oh God, this doesn't look good. So we left at like, I don't know, sunrise. So that's probably 6 o'clock in the morning in August, maybe earlier, 5:45, something like that. And we're looking all day in a Zodiac. So like full sun exposure, no bathroom, just all day. And I think they were supposed to go live at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it was like 1:15. And I was like,
no.
We don't
Crunch
have
time.
I'm texting the producer like, we don't have one. And we had looked everywhere. And the Fulmar was out with the actual crew, like the show crew, and they were
remember
searching another part of the bay. And I was like, oh my God. So we try this one last spot. And the show had already started. And I was like, we're searching our last hope place. We'll see what happens. And we found it.
Oh my gosh.
So then the other trick was like, obviously the boat was not going to get there. They were up in Moss Landing with humpbacks as like their backup. So they flew a helicopter to us and they took aerial footage, but then it was like, we didn't know how long the whale was diving. And they like interrupted Steve in his earpiece. And like, for people that had watched Steve Backshaw's shows before, they knew that he was like a little taken off guard. And I watched it later and was like, I knew he was excited because he couldn't shut up.
Yeah.
He was just like, oh my God, the blue whale, like telling you everything he knew about it. And it luckily was not diving very long. And they got, I think, 2 clips of it before the segment was over with the helicopter.
Dude, what are the odds? Like,
Adam, you know what's even, it's not crazier than that, but I am randomly there that entire weekend. And there was also a Big Blue Live. They were also
the
doing
US broadcast.
Well, they were also doing it at the aquarium. They had 2 people talking there. So Margo and I were at the aquarium while that was going on, and we could see that we could, because they have like hosts. Like they go, back to you, Betty. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. So they had 2 people talking at the aquarium while that was going on.
Yeah,
and Margo and I could see that.
It was Liz Bonin and
some other guy, right?
I don't know who the UK guy was, but for the American broadcast, I think Joyce Reidenberg was the American host. She's a phenomenal marine mammal anatomist out of Cornell University. If you want to like see inside giants or anything like that, that's all Joy Reidenberg. She's incredible.
I think that's pretty crazy that I happened to be there on that weekend too.
Yeah.
Like, with Caitlin and like I remember seeing the Fulmar with all the camera people on top, like with that guy up. The guy was on that boat, right? Steve? Yeah,
Steve.
And they were like filming him up there. I remember that. Like,
and they had the Cineflex camera and all that jazz. Chris Eubank was driving the boat.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
He was probably like, preacher.
So after they like wrapped on the show, they told us to stay in the Zodiac with the whale for a couple minutes because they were going to film some like comparison footage. I think the skiff we were in was like 22.5 feet long or something. So this whale was like 60 feet longer than us. And they got some clips of us like with the whale laid out at the surface right next to us. I never saw him, but I know the helicopter was filming it.
So were you on national live TV or what?
No, the boat was not in any of the shots, just the whale. But when we were driving in, the production team called us and they were like, everybody in the trailer's crying. We're going to bring some champagne to the office. Thanks so much.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And then for the American broadcast, which was like a week later, it was like after Labor Day or during Labor Day weekend or something. They were like, let's do it again. And I was like, oh my God. I think they saw that same blue whale for like 2 or 3 days and then it disappeared. And I was like, oh no. So we did find a blue whale again. It was a smaller individual and it was subsurface traveling. And we were on the Seawolf and we scouted all day. I think we sent someone else out in the Zodiac and then we were on the Seawolf and we like divided and conquered. But we found it like 3 hours before the broadcast was supposed to start. So then we had to keep track of it for 3 hours. So we did, because it was subsurface traveling, we could see it really well below the surface because it was a clear sunny day. And as soon as the show was about to start, it started getting foggy. And we were like 12 miles from Monterey. And so they were worried about the relay for the images to go from the helicopter to the aquarium. So we like almost didn't get it, but we did end up getting it. But by the time we left, we were like 18 miles from Monterey and it was foggy. It was nuts, but yeah.
I love Monterey.
Blue Whales live on TV.
It just comes together when you need it to for some odd reason.
I know. Like, so that was the same week they had the killer whales punching the common dolphin in the air. And I got footage of it. And we had lunch feeding humpbacks. We had all kinds of dolphin species. We had killer whales. We had blue whales. We had fin whales. Like it was like a crazy week. It was like all the animals knew they were going to be on TV and they were all there. It was just nuts.
And that's exactly the way that the animals feel for the Whale Nerds weekend, October 14th, 15th, 16th.
Yeah, there's gonna be one breach, one Rizzo dolphin, one humpback,
one killer whale punching a
Hey,
Rizzo.
whoa, dude.
So then the killer whale footage, Mark Carradine sees that and he calls and was like, that was really good. Can we do that for Blue Planet too? And I was like, yeah, because we can just control that. Like,
Yeah,
what?
let's just.
It's funny because they know that you can't, but they still.
Yeah.
They still ask, yeah.
For some reason, they ask. They're like, so,
Yeah.
like, are you gonna see killer whales? Like around the 2nd or 3rd of September? It's like,
So,
no.
I think
Maybe.
since they already had permitted stuff and the crew and the equipment already there, they just for 40 days contracted us to do that for Blue Planet 2. And we did see 2 or 3 common dolphin hunts with killer whales during that 40-day stint that we worked. But none of them were that big acrobatic thing. And I think at one point they were only filming with the red camera when they did have a couple good hits. But it wasn't good enough, so it didn't make the cut for Blue Planet 2.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But they filmed for 40 days. It was crazy.
Maybe Blue Planet 3.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I've never seen killer whales hunt a common dolphin. That would be cool, but maybe one day. Maybe
And
October 14th, 15th,
that was
16th.
in October. That was in September and October.
Who knows? Gee
Guess what
Willikers.
Danny thinks that pod that we had the other night killed an elephant seal. So I'm telling you, October is gonna be elephant seal hunting season.
Yeah. November is when I saw my first elephant seal hunt ever. So
I would die.
I need to know right now. Are you guys even ready for October?
I'm sure. I'm kind of scared.
3 days without him, I'm scared too.
Me too. Dude. Adam's gonna be like, oh my god!
I'll be like, look at that freaking Rizzo's dolphin. So
Brandon's
tiny
right
and
next
cute.
to the boat.
Wait, but does he do that in your boat, Slater?
No, he does it for some odd reason. I could have a whale go under my boat, peck slap him in the face, and he'd be like, "Oh, it's all right." I'd be like, "Dude, oh my god!"
I'm pretty sure I have a video on my Instagram, a 38-minute video of me screaming.
Yeah,
about what
time, but he only did it because he was live. Dude, he was fake.
Oh,
dude, it's about to be hands on deck.
Yeah, we're ready to freaking film any minute, dude.
I'm trying to think of encounters in the past this time of year. One that comes to mind was actually last year, and last year was like a crazy, incredible blue whale year for us. Right, we had blue whales for 6 months straight, every day, in groups of like 8 to like 30 sometimes. Like we had some days where they all joined up and we're all within like a square mile radius of each other. But by this time last year, it started to thin out. Or it's not even that it started to thin out, it's that the humpbacks started to come back in. And so I remember last year, it was probably, I think it was like September 5th or something. We had a sunset trip that we don't normally run, but we had a private group book the morning whale watch. So we pushed the public whale watch to the afternoon. And it was probably like, it wasn't really sunset, but it was like that like yellowish orange light before sunset. So it was really gorgeous light. And we found a group of 5 humpbacks, and it was the coolest thing. All 5 of them at the exact same time started kelping.
Dang.
And it was like, bro, what's in the water? Like, what are you guys drinking here? Like, why are you all kelping? And it was at the exact same time. They all found their own little kelp patties, and just boom, from kelp patty to kelp patty to kelp patty, all 5 of them were doing it. And then Dave was like, oh, I have some offshore bottlenose. Let's go look at them. And I'm like, no, look at these whales. They're all kelping. Like, that's the coolest thing ever. 5 of them all at the same time. I don't know why they would do that. I don't know if it's just coincidence, but they were all 5 of them just started kelping. It's super cool. And I guess there's just a bunch of kelp patties out there. That
your humpback whales have like a hive mentality or something. They all want to do the same thing at the same time.
At the same time. Yeah, it's
all one brain. It's really one brain.
It's Mother Nature just telling them to kelp.
But only in Santa Barbara.
Only in Santa Barbara. That's it. Not in Monterey. I mean, all yours are lunge feeding at the same time and breaching at the same time. But I guess they do that. I guess I do that all the time.
Yeah.
It's not just like for a couple days straight or whatever. That's one that comes to mind this time of year. But I mean, I'm sure we can talk about that for the rest of eternity.
Well, Slater, so you came up during the BBC madness, but you also had some incredible whale watches during this time of year.
Absolutely one of my favorite trips I think I've ever been on. It's definitely a top day where I wish I could go back to.
You bring it up to me almost every week. At least
I'll never ever get lunch feeding sunset whales ever again in my entire life. God,
except for October 14th, 15th, or 16th.
The 16th when we have our sunset trip.
Yeah, we can also get sunrising, and you'd be happy with that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
Sunrise
Adam,
lunch feeding.
I have sunset. I have sunrise lunch feeding. It's basic.
That's true, you do have sunrise.
And I want to go back to that day too and redo it. Because if I was on my own boat, I could have got closer. We stayed really far because of swells.
Yeah.
I remember specifically JJ saying he didn't want to go in there. And I remember being like, dang it, dude. Because the whales were in like 40 feet of water.
Yeah. But then there was like 7 or 8 foot rollers. And so, yeah.
Let me tell you. That night.
I was there.
That night.
I need to hear it.
Wait, not the sunrise one. That night where I had those whales lunch feeding. And I think I have like at least like 8 or 9 in a photo at one time. And then there's obviously the ones that are back, or like have the sunset behind it. Okay. I thought that I literally was Nat Geo. I submitted that photo.
Didn't you get posted by Nat Geo your shot?
Yeah, I did. So I said they don't have it anymore. They got rid of it. But on their website there was yourshot.natgeo.com and you could submit it. Well, I submitted it and it started getting all these they're like reshare kind of things or like little ticks or votes that you can vote on an image. Well, then they gave me this little what are those little badges you get when you first, second in place, first, second, third?
Like a plaque?
Medal?
Like a medal, but they at the fairgrounds, they're like a
ribbon?
Ribbon. There was a little ribbon on it, and it was a Nat Geo photographer liked this photo, and it was some guy who was a Nat Geo photographer, and I was like, oh my god, I've made it. And I think I was just 21 at the time, so Margot and I were going to Vegas. And on the way to Vegas, I was like, dude, I'm going to become a Nat Geo photographer on my way to Vegas. I was just a legend. And then I lost the raw files and I'll never see that photos again.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure you were on the Seawolf that night, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Or the Clipper,
I was crew. And I remember
you being there for sure.
It was on the Seawolf because I took video from the upper deck of most of that encounter. And my arm was sore after the end of holding the camera for 40 minutes straight.
There's nothing better, Adam, when they lunge feed back to back to back to back. I had that happen a week ago, I think. And I've had lunch feeding since, but it's they do 2 or 3, then they spread out, and then they do 2 or 3.
Well, we had that one day that was pretty choppy out there that they did it just for 8 hours straight, right? But it was kind of all over the place and it was rocky out there, so.
I mean, when it's enough where 5 boats can just sit in a U shape and just watch them go and go and go and what's gonna happen. You see the sea lions move over to the right and they just go.
Yeah.
And then you cry every single time it happens. You get water in your viewfinder. And then you identify a humpback whale by its chin.
Hey, I did that this season with the sword. Remember I showed you guys that cool stripe on his left side? Yeah.
I love identifying humpbacks by little different pec fins or different dorsal fins.
I want to see Lefty do a pec slap. That humpback here that's missing a pec fin.
You missing a flipper, yeah.
I think it has a little bit. It'd be kind of cool to see it.
It has a little nub. Yeah. But it's less than a foot long. It's small.
I want to get them from the drone, and it sucks because I see it pop up on Happy Wheel, and it's you saw this, and I'm like, no, how did I not know it's him?
Unless he breaches, how do you know?
I'll need Kate to call it out because she's very good at it, and so she's always like, oh, Lefty's here or Lemur's here, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I'll need her to call it out, and then I'll be like, boom, drone.
If you guys could go back to one day,
to
refilm something, what would it be? We already know Slater's.
No, you don't. I have too many.
I don't know about mine.
3 of them were with Caitlin, probably.
Probably all with Caitlin.
Yeah, I mean, we did some of these on our Patreon only.
We did
episodes.
So share them with the world.
But I don't know. There's a lot of days that happened where I just didn't know which thing, like which piece of equipment to use, which I think you
Yeah.
guys share the sentiment
That's
on
Adam's
that.
life.
Yeah.
I know one.
What?
And I don't think Caitlin was there, but I was on that boat. I was on the Seawolf, and I handed my DSLR camera to Isaiah actually, and the killer whales were eating a Pacific white-sided dolphin, and I had the drone up, and he actually took a photo on my camera of like it hitting the white side, like kind of like that Mexico bottlenose thing, but with the white side. And I was so mad. I'm pretty sure I have that card somewhere too. And I was like so devastated that someone got a photo on my camera, and like it was slightly out of focus too. And I was like, dude, if I would have got that, like, oh my God. And then on top of that, the footage I got, like the ISO was accidentally at like 400, and for video or for drones back then in general, it just is so grainy. So on the thing, it looked fine, but as soon as I looked at it at home, it was just like straight grain. And so, and that's a bloody video too. Like there's a lot of blood coming out of they like tear the white side in half too.
Well, don't post it on Instagram because you'll get a bunch of hate.
I think, didn't you post that though, even though it was kind of blown out?
I think I did a bit. I have before for sure.
I feel like,
Probably
or
years
maybe
ago.
you posted it on the company Facebook page. I remember seeing it because I think I was out of town.
I remember Everett coming to my house and looking at it, and I was like they were like, let us write a caption, and it was like, make sure we put like graphic and warning in it because it was like pretty bloody.
Yeah. Well, and at the time, that company's Facebook page was like getting millions of views on videos. And so like you got all kinds of nutty comments. Like, you people are so sick. What's the matter with you? And it's like, dude, it's nature. Like, oh my gosh, we're not sick. This is what the animals did. We didn't tell them to do this.
Yeah.
And sometimes I ask myself, I was like, am I crazy? Because I really hope that these killer whales eat the sea lion right now. But it's like, dude, I want to see that behavior that comes after the kill and like, you know, during the kill and like,
when they celebrate and stuff.
Don't get me wrong, dude. I like when the first time I filmed them killing a gray whale, my film was shaking while flying the when I was flying the drone over that, I was literally shaking, and Margot was next to me crying. Like, it's just like, dude, it's intense. I remember I was working in the office. Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember that? And they were having a barbecue on the back deck, and I was like inside the office trying to edit this.
Yep. And I was on the phone with the news. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember that.
Straight up shaking, dude. Adam, have you been flying a drone where your thumb is like this?
I haven't really flown over like. Honestly, the one that I did that was the Rizzo's being eaten, and I was just so like,
I remember
focused on getting the shot, but
because I was like, dude, just don't worry about like getting missing.
Well, I was doing fine, but then like there's nothing I could have done. I couldn't have done any better, because they were feeding subsurface a lot. They were kind of taking deeper dives. They would pop up, and there's 6 whales, so it's like, okay, who has the Rizzos? Like which one of you has it? And then I landed my drone, and the second I landed my drone, they tore the thing apart, and there's a bunch of blood everywhere.
We still
I know
it didn't happen down below. So
I know, but I'm just saying, like, that would have been like, that would have been the only person ever to have that footage on like my stupid Inspire. Like, that would be crazy.
Stupid Inspire that costs $12,000. Yeah, it's dumb.
So dumb, so stupid.
And then DJI, let's roast them real quick. They come out with a freaking mobile Osmo 5. Thank you for that. I really needed that.
Osmo Mobile 5. That's so funny. Well, I mean,
my gosh.
Okay, so thinking back to like, your guys' past encounter, because you guys have been in the ocean a lot longer than I have. Like, what changes have you seen to the present day? Because I think that's really what interests me most. Like, looking back on just like when you look at the Santa Barbara channel, like we have this blog that's posted every day, and it's been posted every day for 11 years. And so what I'm trying to compile all that data into, data sheets and charts and stuff. And when you look back on it, it's like, okay, for the past, 8 years or whatever, there is great numbers of both humpback and blue whales in the summer every year. Like, at some point, the blue whales will move in for a month or 2 months, and you'll have a mix of both humpbacks and blue whales, whether it's 10 humpbacks and 10 blue whales, or 20 blue whales and 5 humpbacks, whatever. For a while there, that's what it was like. But definitely the past couple of years, it seems like it's switching off. Like in 2019, incredible for humpbacks, 0 blue whales. 2020, It started off really strong with humpbacks. They completely disappeared. We had like 3 weeks where we didn't see a single whale, and then boom, blue whales were there for 5 months, and then this year it's kind of like 2019. There's humpbacks everywhere. We've only had a couple of blue whale sightings, and that's just the Santa Barbara Channel, and that's the observations that I've made in my few years working here. And I'm sure you guys have seen observations and changes in Monterey, which I think I would love to hear about.
I mean, it's tricky because like when I started there, we were in the midst of a warm water event that was very anomalous compared to the normal pattern.
Well, that was earlier,
like
right?
it wasn't even El Niños. They literally called it the warm water blob because it was just this anomalous patch of warm water that moved inshore for several years. And so it's hard to say if that was, I don't know, it's just like a blip in the timeline, I guess.
Gotcha.
And so especially when you talk about like teasing out real distinct patterns, like I feel like you need a 10 or 15 year type of data set, because things do happen on big long cycles in the Pacific Ocean. And so I do think that there's like a swing on the pendulum, like there's lots of whales and then it thins out, and then there's lots of whales and then it thins out, and it has to do with the bait, and things like that can get screwed up for years at a time when you don't have the right conditions during spawning. And so I don't have a great answer, because like when I started, it was like humpback whale palooza, and then when I left, it was like still great, really great whale watching, but like definitely less whales than it used to be. So
well, I mean, that's the thing, right? You guys talk about these years back in 2015 of 10 whales lunge feeding at a time, and you just don't see that anymore.
Well, and that was really only that one fall. I mean, and unfortunately,
so it could have been an anomaly year.
Yeah, and there were captains all over the bay saying, I've never seen this before in my life. Like, this looks like Alaska. Like, this is nothing I've ever experienced. This is the most whales I've ever seen, first of all, and this is the most whales I've ever seen surface feeding ever. And so it was like, then there was also this big concern about the fishery with the anchovies. These whales are feeding on anchovies, and the fishermen are saying this is the most fish I've ever seen in my life in this area. And then there's maybe some science to suggest that those are the only fish in the California current, like pushed in near shore, because there's nothing happening offshore. And so you just had like this 3-dimensional space get compressed into Monterey Bay. And it was like the conservationists were like really worried that like these are the last fish in the California current. The fishermen were like, I don't think that's true at all. And then the management was like, I don't really know what to do with this. And so it was really frustrating because it was such a strong September and beginning of October. And then the anchovy fishery started fishing right out in front of Moss Landing, and it all just stopped.
Interesting.
And no disrespect to the fishermen, I understand they have to look out for their best, return on investment. And so why would they go fish 5 miles away when the fish are right there half a mile from the harbor? But it really put us at odds against each other, because the whale watching industry was just raking it in. We had great news coverage and social media posts, and so many people were coming whale watching late in the season because of all the action. And then it just squashed as soon as the fishery took over for about a week, and then all of a sudden the whales left. Or they spread out, they pushed further offshore. They didn't get in big groups right in front of Moss Landing. And I know that like that was when BBC was here, so I was here every day, and it was literally my living to figure out where the hell these whales were every day. And so I remember taking notes on it, very detailed notes on it, because I was like, we are getting paid a lot of money by BBC to come and film this, and now it's stopped. And then Paul Nicklin came down from Nat Geo because he also wanted to get in on the photography action, and he got that really compelling photo at sunrise of all the dead anchovies floating in front of Moss Landing Harbor, because I think the fish were too small, or it was too much of a mixed school to sell, and so the fishermen dumped it right outside the harbor.
Really?
Yeah, and he, that caused a big uproar, and so there was quite a rift that formed between I mean, there was already a rift there, but a rift
Yeah.
widened between the ecotourism industry and the commercial fishing industry in Monterey during those years. And yeah, it's hard because no one has enough funding to know the like actual answer to the question of like, is there more fish somewhere?
Yeah.
But that, you know, anchovies are not an actively managed fishery, so they don't do stock assessments for them. They haven't done a stock assessment for them since the late 90s.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And that was one of the arguments with conservationists. They sued nymphs over it, I think, actually, because there was a paper done by this group in the Farallones. And so the conservationists were saying that that's the best available science because it's the most recent. Then like other people are saying it's not a complete study. So they need to use the 90s quota. And it's like, you haven't assessed the fishery in over 20 years. Like you should do it. You should do an assessment.
Yeah.
Because maybe there are more fish. Maybe we're all wrong and fine. But like no one knows unless you go look.
Do you guys know like about like in past years like Morro Bay or Avila Beach being like super humpback friendly? Because I mean my experience is a lot less than your guys's, but just over the past couple of years, those areas that do get a lot less coverage than Monterey and Santa Barbara have been having really good numbers of humpbacks.
I know Morro Bay's definitely had humpbacks for sure.
Yeah, Morro Bay's had a whale watch company there for quite a long time.
For a while. And it's I was just in Monterey Bay and they literally go, a couple miles outside of the harbor and they get their couple whales and they go back, right? So like who knows what's actually out there. I think that's a little hidden gem on California's coast, but
yeah, I remember when everything started kicking off real crazy in 2014, there was lots of footage coming out of Avila Beach from shore.
Gotcha. Yeah,
but I don't know about anything before that.
Gotcha. I mean, even that's 7 years ago, like,
yeah,
I think that's valuable, observations and data there.
Yeah. So I think
I want to go offshore.
We're getting close to the 10-year mark, but I don't have enough.
You know where I want to go,
good
Adam?
Answer. Davidson Seamount.
No, I want to go see the weather buoy, the Monterey Bay buoy, not the inner buoy, the bay buoy.
The one that's like 26 miles out.
I don't care. I just want to see it. I bet there's so many. I bet the killer whales touch it with their nose all the time, and they're just out there.
That's why it's not working all the time, because the killer whales just go and high five it.
Yeah, I think I bet you we go out there and there's just everything. They're all hanging out. They're like, haha, they think we hate each other, but Rizzos and killer whales are playing and
short fit pilot whales and sperm whales.
Listen, dude, if we can go to Big Sur or Point Sur, then we can go out to the weather buoy.
Oh, why does it seem so scary, Caitlin, to go straight out 30 miles here? In Newport,
it is kind of scary,
day, but here,
because when the weather changes, you're like, shit,
screwed. You're screwed.
No, you just ride
especially in a 20-foot freaking Cabo.
No, I'll just put Adam in the cabin, dude, and I'll just go in slow.
Make sure your life jackets and your EPIRB are working.
It's fine, dude. You can go straight out. You just got to leave it like 0400.
Yeah, and know that it's going to be glass.
Travel for 2 hours, and then when you're out there, you see some whales at like 8 a.m, and then you go in early because you get scared.
Like, I don't know how to find my way home in the dark.
We have a radar.
Yeah, we have a radar. I used it this morning because I could barely see in front of my eye. There was so much fog.
Do you have some turkey fog out there? Was turkey fogging?
Yeah, but you know what, dude? Fog doesn't even scare me because you just go to the numbers of where they were yesterday, and it's like,
turn the engine off. Listen.
Nah, today to the south it burned off pretty quickly. So I found the whales, man. It felt good. It feels good when you find the whales.
It's always so good when you find the whales.
Well, it's like, okay, it's not like they weren't there yesterday. Kate was like, I just asked, like, where were they the afternoon yesterday? And I'll like go there and work my way around, and they were like 43 and 53. And I got stopped at 45 and 53 with Aurora and Fluke. And then I was like, they were going west. So I was like, okay, well, this is not where I want to be. So then I literally go 2 miles further and it's just like blow, 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 breach. And I was like, there's so many whales here. There was, I say 8, there was easily like 15 whales in that area. Like I could see some towards the beach that were on the edge of the fog. I could see some that had just left the feeding group. But like we saw 8 at once is what I counted in the feeding whales.
Yeah.
So it's like that's what I'm going with. But there's so many whales. I love whales, and they're just everywhere.
I love
You
whales.
can't look at them all. Like I'm just like I'm trying to capture them all, but I just can't. I got a new fluke today, though, for sure.
What you're trying to do is freaking out happy whale me, dude. And
Oh my god.
It will happen, Adam. I just need like 2 more months, and then I'll catch you.
Oh, you guys
It's
are
true.
funny.
We've been seeing the same couple of whales, but it's the same, 15, 20 whales. Like you can't, I'm not complaining about anything.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw some whales for the first time this season today. Who did we see? Crystal, who is the 1980 calf of the famous whale Salt. And I had a cool story actually about today. I forgot.
Calf.
1980 calf, one of the first branches on the family tree of the whales of New England. And a woman on my trip saw Crystal as a calf. She's like, we went whale watching in the summer of 1980 and we saw Salt and her baby. And I was like, this is her baby from that year.
It's a freaking 40-year-old, 40-year-old
You
animal.
have to just cry out loud. Like,
Yeah, I was
That's
like,
40 years.
40 years. Yeah. I mean, that's
Adam.
incredible.
I'm only 28, dude. I wasn't even close to born.
I'm only 23.
I mean, that whale's older than me and I'm older than both of you. So, but yeah, I mean, that was really cool to like have someone on the boat that remembers the year that he was there for the first time with his mom. Like that was incredible.
Dude, what are the odds? Like,
yeah,
that,
I was like, I asked,
and they just showed up, right?
Yeah. Well, Crystal had been around, but we haven't been down on Stellwagen Bank most of the summer. We've been on Jeffrey's Ledge. So we've been going north out of our harbor for most of the summer. But we went south today, and Crystal is very much a Stellwagen whale. So is Salt. They're very loyal to Stellwagen Bank within the Gulf of Maine. They're hardly found anywhere else.
Yeah.
And so last year we spent a lot of time with Crystal because we were on Stellwagen all summer. But this is the first time this year that we'd seen him. And I feel like, let's see, Etch-a-Sketch was sighted yesterday, and that is also in Salt's family tree. I wasn't on the trip, but that was another one of Salt's, I think, grandkids who was seen by our boat for the first time this season. She'd been seen by other boats, but yeah, pretty cool. So I asked the lady, I was like, do you still have photos from that trip? She's like, yeah, I definitely remember taking pictures. And I was like, if you find those, send them to us, because that would be super cool.
Dude, stories like that make me like appreciate whales even more.
My memory today says, wait, hold on. It says, what if I told you this was a quarter of what we saw on this trip? Like, it's like just a bunch of humpbacks. It's like a humpbacks like rolling around with sea lions, but it's like, oh, I'm telling you, it's a good time. It's a good time to be alive, you guys. September, October is gonna be lit.
Lit. You heard it here, folks. September, October is gonna be lit.
All right, you guys, I have to go cry.
Yeah, Slater does need to go cry about a lot of things.
Okay.
But
What are we crying about tonight, dude?
If you want to see Slater and Adam cry in person, come on the Whale Nerds weekend trip. October 14, 15, 16. Sign up at thewhalenerds.com.
Fair warning, I can't cry from whales. It doesn't happen. Actually, I did cry. I did cry for my first time. Did I tell you guys? I told you guys in the beginning. I cried when that whale was breaching. Like the second day I had my boat in Monterey, it was like breaching, and I started crying because I was like, "Oh my god, I have my own boat, and I'm watching him breaching a whale." And I called Margo. I called Margo, and because I was like kind of crying, and I was so happy, and she was like, "Why are you crying? What's wrong?" And I was like, "No, I'm actually just happy." Oh, I forgot.
Dude, I cried after the yard, after the 3 months in the yard.
Adam,
We
you
saw-
cry all the time.
That's true. On our first whale watch. Well, dude, it sucks because after 3 months in the yard, we had like 4 days of like awful weather, and so we couldn't go out even longer. And I was just like fuming at the mouth, like foaming at the mouth. And then we went out and we had 2 wags in glassy water, and I cried.
Okay.
Why are we your friends?
6 times.
It's a good thing we love you.
That's true. I try.
All right. Well, thanks everyone. We really didn't know if we were going to make a full episode out of this, and now it's a very long episode. So
How long is it?
Over an hour.
This is a fun episode.
Woohoo! This is super fun. I like these.
I
As much as I like
bro.
talking about papers and science and all that boring crap, these are fun too.
Wow. Just
winging it.
freaking why do I even have a
Throw
job
all
on this
Caitlin's
podcast?
science. Caitlin's science out the window.
Why do I even put in all the hours reading those papers?
It's because
wouldn't
you
be-
love us.
We wouldn't be this far if we didn't wing it once in a while. Caitlin, that's how the
True.
podcast started.
We
winged
are big wing New Englanders over here.
it. Winged-
No, you're
big
not.
winged New England.
Look at your tiny little wings. You are not big winged New Englanders.
Okay.
Like
Thank you guys so
chickens.
much for listening to this podcast. If you made it this far, you're a boss, and we appreciate it. Thank you so much for all the support on Patreon. And if you guys aren't following us on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, it's at Whale Nerds. And our website is thewhalenerds.com. You can go to thewhalenerds.com/trips, and you can book a trip with us in the fall. And it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Do we have a secret whale of the week?
Yeah, Adam.
Scarlet.
Scarlet.
Oh, Scarlet. It's a good one.
Okay. Secret whale of the week is Scarlet. So thanks.
Now I'm gonna post when episode 90 comes out. I'm gonna post a video of Scarlet. It's gonna be like, oh, it's gonna be cool.
All right. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Later.